or just?
Put the gun down before you kill someone.
Teenage Girl's Diary.
Hello, and welcome to another Dollar Store Drive-In. I'm your host, Laura.
I'm Joel, and I'm dropping things.
And now it's got full of hair. Look at all the hair on that. We have dogs, if you can't tell. We're the Newlydeads. Did I say that already?
Nope, but
We're
we
the
are.
Newlydeads. And this is our half-hour chat show where we discuss a movie that we watched, that we purchased from either the Dollar Tree, the Dollar General, the Family Dollar. Joel's getting all of the hair off of his hat. Maybe the Goodwill, maybe the Salvation Army, maybe the street. Maybe somebody just gives us one. That's happened before.
Anything under $5, or if you've directed or created in your own film, no matter what the quality is and you want to have it on the show,
The tubes.
send us a link to give us a little history, and maybe we'll play it for you.
Yeah.
Or we'll talk about it. We won't play it. We don't do that, but
No.
maybe someday.
Yeah. And if you are wanting to chat with us,
Oh, yeah.
you are welcome to join the chat right now if it is Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. Central Time.
I don't know where it is, or depending on what
You
you're
will
watching
be
it on.
chit-chatting with Mr. Newlydead over here himself, and I will be probably sitting right next to him.
She will be.
Yeah. And he'll be like, look at this. And I'll say something, and then he'll be like, look at that.
Yep.
So, thank you for the last couple weeks. We've had somebody chatting with us, so thank you for that.
So nothing draws a crowd like a crowd, people. Plus, if you want to talk to Bailey or Shaggy, it's kind of like, you know, the bumper sticker I saw the day that said, tell your cat I said, pss, 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 pss.
You did.
You can not just tell us to tell our dogs hi, we'll actually tell them hi.
That's really funny.
Yeah, I laughed at it. I'm not even a cat guy. I mean, cats are fine, but
That's really
I
funny.
heard that and I laughed. I literally laughed out loud, and I'm like,
Tell your cat I said.
so the person in front of me was probably looking back wondering what I was listening to, or that I liked their bumper sticker.
And
So
you're just really laughing.
if you're watching the show, good job. And then later on the way home, I saw one that said, tell your dog I said hi. It's not quite as entertaining.
But
I thought it was,
for real?
It was, yeah, I thought it was strange that I saw one of each. But I don't know what you would tell the dog.
I'd be like,
That's the equivalent
my
of...
friend said hi.
Oh.
What a good boy.
But what if it's a girl?
Baby. See? That's what you gotta say. It's a good baby.
Good dog. Tell your
Good dog.
dog.
Yeah.
Tell your dog I said good dog.
This show's not about
Anyway.
pets.
We have pets, we talk about them, but what are we here to talk about today?
They make my life happy.
Yeah.
So we are here to talk about a movie that we watched. Not yesterday, but the day before. That Joel is very, very excited about. Voodoo Apocalypse.
It's not about an alpaca with lips. It's not even about an apocalypse, but we'll get to that. So this has been the movie that literally since almost the dawn of this show, when I purchased it, I've been dying to watch it, but through the randomizer, we had to wait, and it ended up being my birthday film, sort of. That's when we ended up finally getting it picked, and she can attest that I was very excited when we sat down to watch it. So...
Do you want me to read the synopsis?
Yes, in case you weren't here either last week or you missed the episode right before this one. Oh, Shaggy's looking behind him.
You can't see him, though.
Here is the synopsis for the film, just so you can hear it.
Yes. You ready?
Shaggy's scratching.
Shaggy is scratching. We're a hot mess of freaking animals today. White Chocolate is a rookie police officer assigned to hunt down famous drug trafficker Jimmy Vanilla. Charlie Vargas is an officer whose partner was killed by Vanilla. Together, the two team up on a wild journey to apprehend the drug trafficker that takes them through a world of black magic, Mexican wrestling, kung fu, enchanted swords, and songs that turn listeners into zombies. That is accurate AF.
Yeah. When we read that last week, it just sounded like, you know...
Like, what?
Like, it's probably going to be that.
You watch it and you're like, all right.
But the only thing that is truly missing is it's not actually an apocalypse. There's no apocalypse in this film whatsoever.
I mean, if you want to consider people turning into a zombie part of an apocalypse, nah, that's a stretch.
But there was only
that's like an outbreak or like a
20 or 30 of them ultimately, and by the end of the movie, they were on to another threat. They talked about a sequel, which incidentally we'll get to that as well because I have more information on that.
Do you?
I do. But the sequel was talking about vampires.
Vampires?
Vampiric, vampires.
If you've watched True Blood, vampires.
Vamps.
Vampires.
Vampilings.
They call them vampires.
Yes, so they did allude to a sequel, but at this point, we'll talk about it. So, before we get into the finer points of this film, including the people that made it, et cetera, we should probably watch the assemblage of clips known as a trailer.
Here it comes. Toot toot.
I'm a little toot boy.
All right.
What the fuck?
I already know Kung Fu.
Yeah, zombies, alright.
Are you looking at me? Huh? Are you looking at me?
Fuck you! This guy is a fucking superhero.
Hear me! I'm gonna kill all those fucking motherfuckers!
Shit!
We're back. Did you mess with the trailer? I guess I'll have to find out when you guys are watching.
I don't even know yet. I haven't actually.
Sometimes he messes with the trailer.
But at this point, I can't say because I haven't watched the trailer and I don't know. There's a lot of things that go into whether or not.
I don't think you need to. I
It
think that movie was already a Joel film, and they were tapping into your soul.
I was gonna say I'll get to that, but it's time to get to that. So
It is time
I'll
to
grab
get
my
to that.
notes.
Yeah, let's go with the rundown.
These are some fancy schmancy papers that I got for these notes from my wife. Inadvertently, it wasn't
It's just
supposed
not
to be.
super crappy.
Like low quality
Yeah,
typing
this
paper.
is high quality digital paper.
High quality. There's the usual pictures. I got a little
Luchador.
Lucha Libre and a zombie and a little smiley face and the word Spain because it's Spanish, and there's a hot dog. I don't know why there's a hot dog. So anyway, this is Voodoo Apocalypse from 2018. Currently it's sitting at 4.8 out of 10 on the Internet Movie Database. It is directed by one Vasne Ramos, who also directed this sequel, which is listed as a TV series, but there's no information as far as how many episodes, where you can find it,
TV
if it's
series.
actually aired. But it's called Paul Kersey and White Chocolate versus the Kung Fu Robotic Mafia. Which, if for those of you who are not in the know who Paul Kersey is, do you know who Paul Kersey is?
No.
Paul Kersey is the vigilante architect that Charles Bronson played in the Death Wish films and that Bruce Willis channeled in the remake, which was actually pretty good, done by Eli Roth. Yeah, so I'd like to see it because I love Charles Bronson. With there's a big one of his movie posters on the wall that's been there for years, and I'm a fan. I've got a bunch more of those down in the basement that aren't framed. So I'd like to see Paul Kersey back in action, but since they probably aren't going to use I forgot the actor's name that's looks just like him that's still alive, because Charles Bronson lived to be nearly 100 and made like 100, almost over 200 films in his career.
So insert name here.
Insert name here because I'm not going to be able to think of it right now because I'm on the spot. This was written by Vasni Ramos. It was also written by Jose J. Ramallo, who, I'm going to butcher these and I apologize, wrote a film called Canarias de Leyenda, which means Legendary Canaries. I looked it up. Don't know what it's about, but that's the only other credit they have besides this and affiliated things to this. Sergio G. Ramos is the other writer. He wrote the Paul Kersey thing with Vasni, and that's the only other credit he has. This stars Sergio G. Ramos, Jose J. Ramallo, who Sergio's not done any other acting gigs, but Jose did The Truth Is Out There, which was a TV series. And it also stars Victor Hubara, who did a film called Grasa, which apparently means fat. Was that a show? That may have actually been a TV show now that I think about it. He also did Las Noches de Tefia, which means Tefia's Nights. Don't know what that's about, but I'll put the things up here for you to gaze at, and then you can go look
graze
them up.
like a cow.
You can look at them and then go check them out and see what they're about. So, moo, mother. Nope, we don't curse on this show. But we do have a cow that sits on our counter named Frank the cow.
He likes to say the F word.
And he likes to say MFer, and moo MFer. Mm-hmm. And Laura does his voice, and it's very funny. Anyway, so it's that time finally.
What'd you think?
We can talk about it.
Are you gonna make it spoiler free?
Yeah, I mean it's 2018. I mean there's not too many things that are gonna spoil this for anybody if they're into this type of thing.
If you read the back of it, it's pretty self-explanatory.
And I gave away the ending as far as what they're talking about for a sequel, which is not what we got with the Paul Kersey thing. So maybe there's more on the horizon. This is not that old, but we didn't say what happened like exactly at the end.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, if you like Mad Heidi or any of the other affiliated films that we talked about,
kind of
that are kind of grindhouse throwback wannabes, but they're made as comedies instead of intentionally being kind of bad, or instead of being unintentionally bad, they're intentionally bad. And this would fit in with one of those, I would say.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Agreed.
And typically what they do is they shoot it in a regular film stock or video quality, but then they add a filter that makes it look like it's, got burned edges and there's frames missing and scratches and clicks and whistles and whatnot. And they did that here, and sometimes it looks really cheesy and fake, but I thought they did a pretty good job of keeping it period accurate for the most part.
Yeah, except for like the crowd.
Oh, yes, the other people in the film did not get the memo.
I think it was probably hard because it was like a big crowd of people, so it's like wear your most 70s looking-ish outfit, and it ended up looking like the 90s.
Because this was supposed to be, 79?
Yeah.
And they insert stock footage of traffic and things in there when they're driving around that kind of help throw you into the belief that they are in Los Angeles, which in reality is, they were shooting in Spain, which is kind of obvious when you pay attention, because they all speak either Spanish or broken English.
Yeah.
But sometimes some of the stock footage is not from the 70s, and there was at least one, which I swear there was a bunch of cars that looked like, like Ford Fiestas and Ford Tauruses and Toyota Camrys and things like that from like around the 90s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just gonna say I enjoyed this.
I know you did. He was very happy the entire time.
I actually laughed out loud twice, which for me to laugh out loud at something is kind of unusual.
At the gun part?
The drummer instance.
Yes.
Was funny.
That was the very beginning.
That was towards the beginning. That was the
gun?
first fight. Was that where I laughed out loud? There was something that they said that there was a joke that was made of verbal exchange, and something that one of the guys said to the other guy.
I can't remember what it was.
Literally, I laughed really hard.
Yeah.
It's not normal.
No, he usually he'll chuckle or he'll be like,
Or I'll be like, that's funny,
Yeah, like he'll like just say that's funny.
but I don't laugh
No.
typically.
But he actually like, yeah, like
It made me laugh twice.
he
So
would have done a spit take.
if I was drinking something or whatever, I might have spit taked. That's
Yeah.
true. There was a little low-key racism in this. I don't know why they went that route, but it wasn't necessarily super off-putting, but it was kind of a weird choice.
It was a little off-putting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't like, I don't feel like they were doing it in a way that they were trying to be, I don't know, maybe they were trying to be period accurate again.
To me, that's what it felt like. To me, it felt like they had watched a lot of 1970s films, right?
For sure.
Like I can't even never say that word. Blaxploitation. Yeah.
For sure.
Films, and they were like, okay, we need to do like that, and we need to have a character that like fits in with that, like, you know, theme, and we don't have.
But they did. That's the weird thing. His partner.
It was
partner
darker
was
skinned. Yeah.
Actually a black man.
Yeah.
And so they could have easily just had him play the character.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a
well,
black
the
man.
chief or whatever wasn't he the chief? The guy that was like.
The guy that they were being a little low key on, yeah.
Yeah.
But his partner.
I don't think it was his partner.
His partner that was murdered. That kind of set off the things.
Jimmy
was not the
Vanilla's-
same guy.
No, Charlie Vargas. That was Charlie Vargas's partner.
Yeah, it wasn't the same guy, but they could have swapped their
yeah,
roles
but
and it would have
maybe
been
he
fine.
just didn't have enough time, or like maybe he like, you know, like
It was a
there's
strange choice.
and then they just couldn't find anybody else, and they were like, this guy can do an American accent or something that sounds like a guy from the 1970s that's in a blaxploitation film.
And maybe because the lead girl, female interest,
Yeah.
was also black, that maybe that's why. I don't know.
It was
weird. It
odd.
was a weird choice. But I don't know. That was the only thing that I really had any sort of issue with. They did drop. Oh no, that's not true. They did drop the F word quite a bit, and we're not talking about
the FUCK word.
No, we're talking about a bundle of sticks.
I mean, it's definitely a different culture, so I don't know if that's like non-offensive there, but it's offensive here.
If you have any Spanish viewers that are from Spain, let
Is
us know in the
that
comments, or
or
there
were
are
they
no
like,
comments.
since it's the 1970s, that's something that they like dropped a lot.
I
Like,
don't remember.
again, maybe they watched a lot of those like 1970s like grindhouse films, you know, and
Or
like
they
they
were
were
just
like
trying
they say
to
that word a lot.
overemphasize it to be funny.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know.
it's not.
It did. That's the only things that didn't work.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have thoughts on it, or you can give us a little insight,
I feel like you can.
contact at thenewlydeads.com. So.
Yeah, because I feel like you can pull off a film, making it feel like it's the 1970s without also putting like bad stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to follow all the stereotypes and the bad things that, you know, now we've kind of moved past.
Yeah.
Or that we've trying to move past. But yeah, I don't think that was, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, because it's not like here's a history lesson, you know,
Right.
or whatever. It's like they're just throwing in F words
And see,
everywhere.
that's the thing they could have done, is they could have started out that way and then have somebody call them out on it and be like, you know, in 30 years from now, things are going to be different. So why don't we be the change? Or I don't know. They could turn it into a joke,
Right.
instead of making it just a thing that constantly is happening throughout the movie that you're like,
Yeah.
I also feel like they should have stuck with strictly Spanish dialogue because, again, as we've talked about in other films where they're not dubbed and they're trying to speak English, kudos. I don't speak very well any other language other than English, and even that I don't speak real great, apparently. But it damages the acting sometimes, because if they're trying to think of the words that they're trying to say, it's hard to then emote and do all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're focused on just saying the words. So again, they probably should have stuck with either Spanish or English instead of going back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the subtitles. They kept like dropping the subtitles and stuff on some things. Yeah.
And sometimes they didn't have subtitles when people were speaking Spanish.
That's what I'm saying.
It was
yeah,
like-
they were dropping the subtitles. There was like no subtitles. 0 subtitles.
I wrote down one review because I thought it was funny. It simply said, horrible, poopy, very poopy, 1 out of 10. Which I feel
Horrible,
like...
poopy,
Very
very poopy.
Mhm. which I feel is not totally accurate.
But very funny.
There was some poop involved, but it wasn't very poopy. It was just somewhat poopy.
Yeah, there's like a couple poops.
Camera moves were correct to the time. I felt like they did a really good job with being very period accurate in terms of how they racked focus and how there was, kind of the way the chase scenes were handled.
Yeah, they made it in that, not quite sepia, but a little bit like in that like Technicolor kind of like sepia-ish
The color
tones.
palette?
Yeah, palette. Yeah.
There were definitely, yeah.
Like that, I don't know, like autumny kind of like tones and stuff where it's like really orangey, tones. And like pops and, cracks and crackly things and like burn, holes and yeah, it seemed grindhousey.
You could definitely tell it was low budget. The eyeball in particular was comically delicious. We'll let you just see that on your own. We won't describe it.
No.
Took a little bit of the left turn with the zombie thing, but
It was a stretch.
they needed to get the swords of jokes in there with the going to the cave of death to do the Excalibur thing.
But that wasn't the Excalibur. It was like the sword of something.
They were katanas to be
There's
correct.
3 of them.
But there was 3 of them in a rock, and you had to pull them out and the right order in order to not die. And there was a joke there that
It was pretty funny, actually. That section was pretty funny when he was pulling them out and stuff.
There was the training montage, which was that's kind of become a trope that gets used a lot, but I thought
It's
they did
so
a pretty
funny.
decent job with it.
He was like, "Oh, here comes the montage."
The montage was a little inconsistent in the middle, like it kind of dipped a little bit, and then it came back. And I thought it was weird when they used the People's Court theme.
Yeah. They're like, well, I found this People's Court theme. It sounds like the 70s.
And it was weird. They weren't in court. There wasn't a judge.
They were driving.
They were just driving, and it was like burn, burn, burn.
Joel was very nostalgic at that point, though. Maybe that's why.
They threw it in for me. Mm-hmm. Pacifically?
Pacific? Yeah.
Not Atlantically. Pacifically. For those of you who know me from way back, I'm a huge People's Court fan. Specifically Marilyn Milian. I have her autograph, and I'm a fan of that show.
He's a fan of Low.
And I don't ever apologize for the things that I love, because there are no guilty pleasures, because why should you be guilty about the things you love? Unless you're doing something that you shouldn't be, that's illegal. Stop it.
The end.
Oh, that's what I wrote there at the end. Any other thoughts, words, comments, concerns?
Oh, crap. No, but I had a thing, because it was like 1 out of whatever.
Yes.
I had keep talking, because like I have to think about the thing that was the 1
I don't know
out
how
of.
to keep talking. I don't know what to do. Needless to say, it lived up to 90% of the hype that I was hoping for overall. And I'm going to keep typing. I'm typing to you now because
I can't remember what I was gonna do. 1 out of 5.
yes.
I
Swords?
don't remember what it was. I was thinking.
Eyeballs.
No.
Zombies?
No.
Poops?
Something like that.
Something like poops?
Something like poops.
Tequilas? Fist fights?
No. We'll just go with 1 out of 5.
Trying to think what else.
Swords.
Trying to think what else happened in the movie, but we're running out of time, so we should. And that's my fault.
I said 1 out of 5. Oh no! 1 out of 5 luchadors. That's what it was.
There you go.
I had to look on the back.
I'm gonna give it 3.5.
Ooh, 3.5 luchadors.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 2.5.
Little inconsistent in the middle, and the racism and bigotry was a little unfortunate, but
Yeah, I would have given it probably
Bigotry, is
a
that the right
3.
word? That's not the right word. Homophobia.
Yeah, that's the right word.
That's better. Not bigotry.
Yeah, I would have given it probably a 3 if it wasn't for that.
But she
I
didn't fall asleep.
Did not fall asleep. Nope, it's better than Dead Sea.
You got it.
I said it right. And I was entertained.
So in an effort to get us out of here before they kick us out of here, the movie that I chose to watch in addition to this was 2007's Planet Terror, directed by Robert Rodriguez. That's part of the Grindhouse duology. If you've never seen Grindhouse, watch it in its entirety from start to finish with the trailers. You can buy it cheap for like $7 on Blu-ray. The whole thing. I saw it in the theater. One of the greatest experiences I've had in the theater, period. Fantastic. And the movie is about zombies, and it's grindhousey, and it's...
I like that we made that an adjective.
It's
Grindhousey.
It's fantastic. So if you like zombie movies or Robert Rodriguez, then you should watch it. And then also watch Death Proof while you're at it, because it's fantastic as well.
Agreed.
And I don't fight anybody who says differently.
He will fight you.
Bite you.
He will fight you.
I don't fight. I'm
No.
a lover.
He'd probably, like, hug you. Instead of fighting.
It sounds like...
What are we watching next week, Joel?
I'm thinking about hugging people to death. I think I've seen that before.
Death hug.
Pretty sure. Right. So, chosen at random out of the box of Magical Wonders. Next week we are watching... I don't know, what year is this? 2018 again. Head Count.
Head count. Oh, yeah, I get to read.
She gets to read about head count.
Oh, I should have worn my cheaters. Newcomer Evan joins a group of teens on a getaway in Joshua Tree. While exchanging ghost stories around the campfire, Evan reads aloud a mysterious chant from an internet site. From that moment, someone or something is among them. As unsettling, inexplicable events become more frequent, Evan realizes this summoned, shape-shifting creature is targeting them to fulfill a deadly ritual. Oh, this is going to be bad.
Why do you say that?
Just bad.
Because of the images on the back?
Yeah, and just the... Yeah. Evan reads a mysterious chant from an internet site. Why couldn't he just been like, I found this in the dirt?
It's happened. I mean, I'm sure that's happened somewhere.
It doesn't look great.
So if you don't want to watch that, go watch Planet Terror from 2007.
This is from 2016.
Oh, it said on the Internet Movie Database 2018.
Oh, wait.
I mean, it could have been made in 16 and then released in 18. That's possible.
This is 2019.
Oh. I don't know. It said 18, or it could have been made in 18.
2016, and then all rights reserved, DVD packaging 2019.
So it was made...
All sorts of confusing.
And then released
Re-released.
later, but maybe it was released originally in 18 and then made for this type of release in 19? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know what she's looking at. But are you saying that because of the imagery on the back, it looks like it's going to be not great?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the cover, and the cover intrigued me.
Oh.
You know, it looked kind of
And
like...
it says head count.
Right, and it looked kind of like... It has potential, like it might be a little funny, a little stabby, a little pokey.
I hope so.
Incidentally, real quick, I know we're running out of time. If you have not gotten a chance to watch it yet, watch the trailer for Eli Roth's full-length feature film, Thanksgiving, that's coming out in November. If you've seen the original Grindhouse trailer, speaking of Grindhouse, that's what made me think of this. It is the same, but it is not designed to look like a Grindhouse movie anymore. It's looked like it's
regular movie.
Like a true-to-life, honest-to-God, looks like an 80s throwback slasher without intending to be an 80s homage. It just
looks
feels like an 80s, because
Good.
the character's got a suit and a mask and a whatever that makes them look like, Jason or Freddy or any other number of characters that came out at that time. And it doesn't look like it's intended to be like a spoof. I mean, it is supposed to be. I don't know. Anyway, watch it. I'm impressed. I'm excited to see it.
Cool.
It's been a while since we've seen something that's just fun to be fun.
And where can they find us?
Oh yeah, thenewlydeads.com. I don't know how fast that's going to go across. So you can see that. Find us there. I mentioned it earlier where you can contact us. I put that on the screen as well. Also, if you are going to be around here in October, come see us at the Witches Market. We are going to be selling stuff. We'll be there to chat. You can come see all of our spooky vendor friends. And I'll put that information right here. What else?
That's
Anything
it.
else? That's it.
Except
The end.
for, thank you very much for watching, and until next week,
Keep it cheap and creepy.
bye!
Go look after your mother and sister. Where are you going?
I'm gonna finish this.